Sorry, the video ended, didn't realize how long that was. I'll just continue on. Yeah, so if the Orissa's coming down this way with, say, a Moira, immediately the tank should drop, the Mei should wall them off and separate them, and you should try to kill the Orisa. But if they see a Tracer coming at the same time, Orissa's responsibility, Mei's responsibility immediately switches from the Orisa to the Tracer. It's her job to pelt the Tracer with an Icicle and melee, and just pelt her with an Icicle, force her to recall, and then go back to the Orisa. It's not the Ramatra's job to come back for the flanking Tracer, whether the flanking Tracer goes coast or top or main. So that's the thing. There are multiple options. So there's lots of flanking options for Tracer to go somewhere, or any hero, because you won't always have perfect rush and dive heroes on attack. And you know what I mean? People will just choose whatever they want. You'll see soldiers walking around here. You'll see widows. You'll just see all sorts of things. But honestly, what happens if, say, a soldier walks that way, right? Well, you don't really do anything as mate. You still fight the Orisa. The Orisa's a higher priority. If you see the soldier start sprinting towards you, you just pelt him twice in the head. He has no abilities to dodge it, and he just runs out of position. It's like he's choosing a defensive hero on attack, so that's his mistake. You know what I mean? That's just like it's an easy matchup for Mei. You should be able to delete him, or Torbjorn, just like absolutely delete him, and then just go back to what you did. If you don't delete him, you should at the very least be able to pelt him in the body twice or the head once, and make him run back and use abilities. You know what I mean? Like make him run back, use the health pack. Do it again, make him run back, use his biofield, and then do it again, make him run away, and he doesn't get any value, you know? But it's important that you make sure that if Orisa, Mauga, Jungle Queen, Reinhardt are rushing down here, it's very important that you pelt them with damage from projectiles. Because you don't want them getting that space. That's the whole point of selecting the defensive heroes. Yeah, so that's why you hold in these areas, and that's the same reason why these projectile heroes are susceptible to Pharah, Echo, and Genji. Because Pharah, Echo, and Genji, they don't walk down this path. They also don't walk down this path. They also don't walk down that path, or walk down Mei. They dive. They're in the air. So if they're diving from this corner and you try shooting them with your projectile weapon, you'll miss minimum 50% of your shots, and quite likely over 50% of your headshots. Probably all of your headshots. Probably one headshot once. And that's why you're susceptible to it. If you see them coming, right, you have to put your faith in your friendly hit scan. So if there's a McCree here, or a soldier, or whatever, you have to put your faith that they'll damage them enough to force them back. Or kill them. Same with down Mei. You have to have faith that any McCrees here will stop Pharahs and Echoes and Genjis from getting space along that. You have to have faith in them, basically. But if they do manage to close the distance on you because your friendly hit scan aren't doing their job or don't even know what they're doing, you have to make a decision. Your decision being to use all your abilities and try to finish off the projectile heroes here, maybe trade, or do you give up more space and try to damage the dive hero as the dive hero is coming? Because you can still damage them, it's just you'll struggle a lot more. So you can either give up the space, rotate around here, but if the dive heroes have forced you around here, that means their friendly projectile, their friendly rush heroes can walk on the objective or take that staircase. So I would consider there's two types of losses in this game. If the enemy enemy rush heroes manage to take this space, i.e. walk their bodies onto this space with full HP, right? All this space here. If they manage to claim it, right? That is a soft form of you dying and going back to spawn. That's a soft form of you losing the team fight. If this happens, you should consider that half of the team fight lost. And yeah, you should really consider it a serious loss, basically. If you lose that, it's not over, but you can still slam projectiles into them as they rush up in this direction. You can still make a final stand on the objective. But if you're making a final stand to save the objective, or a final stand to prevent the Orisa and the Tracer and whatnot from getting access to your hit scan heroes. So say it's like a Mauga running around here, and you have a friendly Soldier 76 over there. If the Mauga manages to get round here, that Soldier 76 is a dead man, or like he's off the ground. Just forcing them off the ground is a death wish as well. If a Mauga shoots at a soldier who's holding this space against like a pharmacy or something, and then Mauga comes from behind, even if the soldier doesn't die and drops onto the ground to get away from the Mauga, him dropping onto the ground takes away all his cover, and the dive heroes can just fly over him and kill him from above. Or if they get forced off and they go this way, which would be much wiser in my opinion, they've lost their high ground advantage and they can't shoot over the objective. So it's the same as losing the team fight. So if the Mauga forces, say, the soldier, say the Roadhog or Zaya to drop down here and rotate around here, that's the same as losing the team fight, because that Mauga can now drop on the objective, right, with his team and capture minimum a third of the point, if not all of the objective. The only difference is if they force you to reposition, you have the chance, the last chance to go all in on the objective and fight for the point. So you have one more opportunity to have a fight, as opposed to if they killed you, right, then they just get the objective. So you do get like one more chance if you retreat one more time. But honestly, you should see it as almost losing the fight. This is like, if they take this space here, you've lost the fight. That's how you should view it. If they take the hit scan space away from them, you've lost the fight. That's how you should look at the game. When there was 6v6, right? You used to be able to play 6 heroes. 2 tanks, 2 DPS, 2 support. That's the way the game was supposed to be played. And I still think it's the way the game should be played, but the player base the community isn't up to the level where they can understand this. They're not up to the level where they like understand these concepts, basically, because they don't work as a team. They work very individualistically in solo queue, and then implement very simple but reliable strategies. And these simple but reliable strategies work, but they wouldn't work against a team who used advanced and honestly equally reliable if everyone knows what they're doing. But they are advanced strategies, but they're not really that advanced when you actually think about the game. It's quite simple, like, yeah, so I don't know. I'll go to the Heroes Select screen and I'll go over some of the hero synergies from tank, DPS, and support, because there's a purpose for all 3 in the fight. So to get the maximum value out of heroes, right? And synergizing. You want to have 3 heroes that are in the same category from the tank, from the damage, and from the support. If you're on defense, say you're on defense and we're talking about hit scan. What you want is a comp like, Roadhog, for example. I don't know about Roadhog. Roadhog's always confusing. I say Xayah, it's more accurate. You want a comp like Xayah. You want Xayah, Symmetra, and bloody hit scan support could be Alari, because she has a beam as well. So a Xayah, a Symmetra, and an Alari would be the perfect comp to counter a D.Va, a Genji, and a Lucio, right? Because, or also Doomfist, Genji, and a Lucio, but especially a D.Va because of the defense metrics and the beams would burst her down. So I call it a triangle of communication, right? So it should be one support's job to heal, one DPS, and one tank. It should also be one support's job to damage their counterpart as well. Supports are very confusing in their role switching between support and damage. They're supposed to... So Lucio is supposed to speed boost to begin with, and when they take damage upon the engagement, he switches to heal. Baptiste is meant to damage, heal is his combo, I believe. I don't think there is a damage heal combo. Baptiste switches between damage and healing. Ana switches between damage and healing by literally shooting the enemy. Brig passively switches between damage and healing. The only thing she has to really do is throw a heal pack, which is the R1. Alari shoots. She can have a healing pile and do half the work for her, but if she really needs to heal her tank, she can do that, or even her DPS. In the case of Xayah and Symmetra, I believe the most appropriate hero, I guess, yeah, Alari would be the most appropriate. Mainly because Alari she also has a beam, right? Which I suppose doesn't actually matter since the beam doesn't need to go through any abilities, so I guess that doesn't actually matter. But, you know, she has a beam, so we'll just choose her. She can two-shot a Pharah or an Echo out of the sky, or a Mercy. And since Xayah and Symmetra, Xayah doesn't have much range, Symmetra doesn't have much range. So, yeah, see, they have very short-ranged hit scan numbers. But they do have a distance advantage, right? And it comes through Symmetra and her teleport. They don't have range, but they can switch from one position to another. And technically speaking, Symmetra does have this, which is more ideal for holding a position down here, because she can switch between preventing a rush, but we're talking about heroes that can prevent dive. So how she can help prevent a dive is if she sees the Farah or the Pharmacy or the Echo, she can do that while spamming at them when they slow down. So it doesn't matter that she can't reaches around, yeah, she can't reach them, but it doesn't matter if she can throw turrets around the corner. So she can throw turrets around that corner, and not only can she throw turrets around the corner, what Xayah and that can do is this. She can stop this corner's push, teleport, and then stop this corner's push. So that's the advantage of Xayah, Symmetra, Alari. And yeah, so if a Genji comes, they're just so messed up. If a D.Va comes, they're just so done for. The only issue with choosing Xayah and Symmetra is they can't handle Pharmacy or Echo Mercy really well, because Pharmacy and Echo Mercy just do more damage from a range up high. But yeah, it doesn't. If you choose Alari with it, Alari can output a lot of damage, and if she puts the 3 turrets around the corner that they want to walk around, there's lots of opportunities to get a kill on a Pharmacy or an Echo Mercy. Those turrets, not only do they do a lot of damage, they also slow them down as they approach. So yeah, you can put them at that corner, or if you think they're going to quickly dive to this corner, what you can do is put 1, 2, 3 here, right? And say she uses her horizontal movement ability from up there to here really quickly, and you're like, oh man, she's diving me. These 3 turrets will basically burst her down by the time she gets around the corner. And if you're playing with a good Xayah will bubble you once she commits to the dive and coming around this corner. So if you're bubbled and there's 3 of these, and you manage to hit one of those and switch to your primary, you'll burst it down. So Xayah is about letting them dive you, and then surviving the dive, and then outputting a lot of damage all the time. So that's basically what she's about. And the great thing about her is, you know, she can switch positions. So if you're like holding here, and the Farah thinks, oh man, it's a lost cause going this way, and you see her go that way, you don't have to rotate to there, you don't have to run across there. You can just quickly go bang, rotate around here, throw your 3 turrets up, and you prevent them from going this way as well. And you can just, theoretically, just keep doing that forever. You know, just, oh, she's going back, you come back, you know? But the idea, hit scan, they control this airspace. Projectile, they control the ground space, so all the horizontal options that they have. So you'll notice how many paths, there isn't much space to move around. This is on purpose. This is so that there's a much higher chance of landing your projectiles on them as they approach. Yeah, basically that's what that is. That's spam projectiles, which is why I was complaining before with Junkrat and Hanzo, because Junkrat and Hanzo had the added ability to be able to ambush and do burst damage, but they can't do that anymore, so, you know. Like, don't get me wrong, they can do their combo, but they have to somehow get a melee in there as well. So, you know, which kind of takes away the point of playing a defensive ranged hero. If you want to kill them at a range, you don't want to melee them. So, yeah, it's kind of silly, but... Only for Hanzo and Junkrat. It's not silly for Mei or Torbjorn. Only for heroes where the projectile's super slow and the reload rate or the refire rate is super slow. For the heroes like Mei and Torbjorn who shoot quick, yeah, they shouldn't one-shot. It's just Hanzo and Joker, really. Yeah, so that's how it works, really. Well, that's from the defensive point of view, I suppose. From the offense point of view, you'll be making a decision, right? When you're rushing, you'll go, do I want to go that way, or that way? You'll try to, like, just poke around, see what options you got. If you see them looking, if you see a May or a Life Weaver there, that means they're looking at all the paths. So you'd probably give up. You'd go, oh, there's someone there, but they see me. Maybe try a different direction. Maybe try going down main. Because a lot of people forget that you can actually go down main, turn right, and go this way. Because there's nothing wrong with going from the defender's side of the map if you can break it. And then coming around here to contest the point, or going around the staircase to challenge them from the flank. Like, this is the forgotten path, but it's definitely a path that you can choose to take. I suppose in that sense there's a fifth option. So yeah, I'll go into how the counters sort of work, and used to work more so, but especially will work with tanks in particular. But if you want to make counters work, this is what you should be aiming for. So, firstly, all the heroes who utilize the high ground should have less health points, and they should do less damage. That should just be a general rule, and it is a general rule in this game. But they've kind of messed it up with the player base trying too much. So I guess the best way to describe this would be with heroes who... Every hero has an opposite hero who does the same task, except on the vertical or on the horizontal. So an offensive hero... So for offensive heroes, right? I'll start with the tanks. Orisa and Doomfist, they both do the exact same thing. They take control of a corner, and then they take corner by corner, right, along different paths. That's all they're doing. They're doing the same thing, it's just in a different way. So Doomfist has his Seismic Slam, he has his Punch, and he has his Block. Seismic Slam is obviously a vertical ability. Currently, Doomfist has 525 HP, which is a heap, by the way. And when he lands his Seismic Slam up here, he gets shield from it. I don't know how much. So the rollout is Seismic Slam, shotgun, try to finish off who you slammed, into a punch, followed up with a shotgun, because as a target is being punched into a wall, say on the high ground, right, the target goes through an animation where they move backwards in a perfectly straight line, hit the wall, take damage, and for like a third of a second or a half second, they're disabled, they can't do anything. And in that time, the shotguns that he fires don't miss because the target is not moving left or right. It can't. They've been forced by the punch to go in a direction, which makes the follow-up shotguns do his burst damage without missing. So with the seismic slam, they can still move. So seismic slam, they can still move, but with the punch, they can't. After he's done his combo, whether or not he's gotten a kill or they're very low on health, he very likely will just switch to the block any of the incoming damage while he's up there, get his power punch, and then he will punch again and try to finish them off. And if he fails all that, he will just try to retreat and get ready to jump in again. Yeah, so that's what Doomfist does. And he does it along the vertical path. So he will come from here, bang, take this corner here. So this is a corner. He does it from that corner, or that corner, or even that corner, or that corner. He wants to take this corner here next. So he'll take that corner if someone's perked up there. Then he'll take this corner if there are a bunch of heroes here. And finally, he will try to control this corner here. And I suppose you could argue that corner. And he uses these abilities to accomplish taking all this vertical space. He also has the option, obviously, to take this vertical corner. So he can take this corner here, another vertical corner, you know, this corner here, or this high ground here from that corner. So like from here, you can just go. That's another area he can dive from. So basically, he can jump straight to all the vertical parts of the map, and that's something Orisa can't do. Orisa does exactly the same thing, but she doesn't do it up here. What she does is... I'll just kill myself real quick. Oh, it's not... Okay.
This time we'll crush them.
So Orisa, on attack, she will go this way, you know, she'll come here, and in a typical fashion, she very often, her favourite path to take, if she can, is to go this way, right? Say there's projectile heroes there, spamming at her or whatever. What she does is... Oh, I guess you could hold them here, technically speaking, if you wanted to. But she probably wouldn't start using her abilities here. Because normally you don't set up there, you set up that staircase, right? But if she goes this way, she'll walk over here, grab the health pack, and this is usually the corner. This staircase is where the big fight would happen. As a defensive tank, you would be right here. Right, you would match her as like, say, a Sigma or a Muscle. So what she does is she twirls in, that's the same as her seismic slam. She spears a target, and as that target's being speared, they're in an animation where she can just hit the target, basically. So that's her combo to finish them off. Then she fortifies, and it blocks all damage, and by the time the fortify has run out, she gets her spear back, just like Doomfist gets his power punch at the end. My server closed due to an unexpected error. I'm just going to go back into it, to be honest with you. I think I was just in the browser for too long. Just recreate it. But yeah, so the idea is Orissa's doing the exact same combo as Doomfist is doing, but she's taking the horizontal space. That's the idea behind it. And Orissa also happens to be a perfect counter to Doomfist, so that's an interesting little detail as well. And it's the same across all heroes like this. Where's Numbani? Numbani, where are you? There you are. So,
traveling to Numbani.
if you remember earlier, Doomfist had 525 HP. You'll notice Orissa has 625 HP, and by the looks of it, I believe that's... I would say... I don't know how much is that. There's quite a lot of armor there, but... 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Or is that 12? Oh no, it's 11. So, it's 11 times 25, 275. She has 275 HP, and 350 armor. So she has 350 armor, Doomfist has none, and 100 extra HP total. 350 of its armor, and Doomfist didn't have armor. Granted, Doomfist gets a shield as he dives in, but Orissa gets Seismic Slam that blocks all damage. So with Doom's Seismic Slam, he gets shield from it, but Orissa literally blocks all the damage coming at her with her twirl. So while she's twirling, she's invulnerable, and after the end of her twirl, she spears. I guess same with Doom, he does his punch, and when she blocks, she negates, look at that, 100 extra health from Overlife, and the damage she takes is like reduced by a percentage. So in general, every rush tank is more survivable than every dive tank, and that's just a universal rule. It takes more damage to kill her, especially when you have supports healing her as she approaches. It's nothing like when Doom goes in. That's the sacrifice for them having vertical maneuverability, is they have less HP, less armor, and less shields. Or overlife, I suppose. Not only that, but dive heroes like Doom do way less damage per second than rush heroes like Orissa and Mauga. I don't know how much it is exactly, but that does so much more damage over time than Mauga's 4 shotgun blasts. Doomfist's 4 shotgun blasts. He can only do 4 quick shotgun blasts, and then he's sitting there with his pants down. He doesn't have a high DPS rate. Orissa does have a high DPS rate. So that's another huge difference. So that's why they keep saying that these heroes are broken, that they're too powerful, and the tanks aren't balanced. It's not actually true. It's just that this hero is a low skill, high value hero, and Doomfist is a high skill hero with basically low value in a low skill player's hands. If you can't handle heroes like Orissa or Mauga or Queen, it just means that you're inexperienced at the game and you don't really know what you're doing. It's not that the tanks aren't balanced. Tanks are balanced. Even Reinhardt and Winston are balanced. It's that you're not playing the game correctly. And a lot of people don't like hearing that, especially people who, anyone who is Diamond or above hates hearing that. They absolutely despise hearing that they don't know how to play the game because of the ranks they're at. And the higher the rank, the bigger the ego. But, yeah, basically, That's how it works. Like I've been studying the game for quite a while now, and you know, you don't have to be a GM to study the game, basically. Half the GM, pretty much all the GMs, the only difference between a GM and someone who's a lower rank is one, they actually can aim. They can aim properly and they can aim well. And two, they are just implementing strategies that are reliable and consistent within a team. They're not actually like, yeah. Anyway, Orisa counters the heck out of Doom. If a Doom tries to dive an Orisa, for example, the moment he seismic slams a target, because Doom's target will always be a squish. He's never going to dive a tank. It doesn't make sense to dive a tank. But if he dives, say, your friendly McCree next to you, I don't know, your friendly Torben, right? You immediately can push him away, and he misses his follow-up shotgun shots. If after you immediately push him away, he attempts to punch the Torbjorn, so after this, then he charges up his punch. At the end of the charge, you just do this, and he'll hit you and get no value from it. This is all while shooting, by the way. And if he goes, man, it all failed, and he tries to block, if he blocks, your spear knocks him out of block. So you seismic slam to throw off his aim from his first engagement. You fortify to block his punch, so he can't follow up with a punch. And then you spear him to knock him out of his block. And by the end of this combo, the Doomfist just dies, like every time. So yeah, that's if you want to know how to counter Doomfist. But yeah, technically speaking, Orisa on defense to counter a Doom, right? It's not. Don't get me wrong, it would work. It would 100% work, but on maps like this, you don't, on defense, you don't have an advantage from playing Orisa because Fortify is an ability that makes you move forward quickly. If you're moving forward quickly on defense, you're taking space, you're not controlling space. So it's more optimal to choose a hero like Sigma or Ramatra or Roadhog or Zaya because they don't have movement abilities and they do more burst damage and more damage. That's pretty much what I'll go back to the spawn room because there are two more offensive lineups that do the same task. Oh, wait a minute. So if you see here, see all the tanks. So Doomfist does what Orisa does on the ground. We also have Mauga and Hemant. So Mauga, what abilities does he have? I'll just stay here. He charges in, he stomps, which causes a stun, and then he follows up with his gun. And before all of this, what he does at a mid-range from corner to corner is he will shoot at you like you're on fire and then damage you, right? And any good player, halfway through that damage, they will run back around a corner to not get finished off. That's where the charge comes in, and you come in, you stun them, and you finish them off. That's the idea behind Mauga and Orisa, by the way. Then he pops his heal, and he just keeps shooting him. The Hemant, right? Hemant does exactly the same thing. You'll shoot at a target, but at a vertical corner. So I'll go outside for this one. So stay up there. He sees the target. Like say there's some tree or soldier, he'll just like shoot him a bit, and then boom. He slams them, shields, follows up, and bursts them down. So they do the exact same thing, except one does it on the low ground and one does it on the high. Hammond is a little bit different as well because, well, not really, I guess you can do this with Mauga too, but Hammond likes to roll through all teams, not on the high ground. He does a lot of soft engagements before committing, which I guess you can do with Mauga as well, but it's not the same. But the idea is that he has two fully automatic hit scan weapons. He has a slam, and he has a shield. The shield is the same as Mauga's cardiac overdrive. So as he gets headshot, he gets health back. And as he gets headshot, he gets a little bit of overhealth as well. But you'll notice, Mauga has 750 HP. How much of that's armor? 1, 2, 3... I think that's 7, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, 7 times 25 is 175. Might be 8. It actually might be 8. 1, 2, 3, 4. Sorry, it's 8. So he has 200 armor and 550 health. When he shoots his headshots, he gets 100 health, 100 overhealth, which makes him 850. And as this is activated and he's getting headshots, he can go from around 0 back to full health, I'm pretty sure. So it's conditional upon him getting headshots, but Hammond, wow, Hammond actually has the same amount of HP, or near it, as Mauga. 775 HP. Looks to be 100 armor and 100 shield, or something around that. So that's interesting. Hammond actually has, he's probably the only dive tank with more HP. But this is kind of, so this is where it's like a unique exception to the rule. Because Hammond's playstyle, it's not just to shoot at a target up high, go from the low to high, slam, shield and shoot. That's not actually how you play Hammond. Hammond, don't get me wrong, you can play Hammond that way and you can dive like that. But the way you play Hammond is to come through from a flank. He's the highest mobility hero in the game, and he rolls through, right? He shields when he's next to as many players as he can. He tries to knock them off the high ground, and then do that. And while he does all that, right? While he does this first engagement to knock them off high ground, what happens is he takes a lot of damage because everyone will shoot at him as he's doing that. I guess maybe they want Mauga to do that as well. I'm not really sure, but I don't see the advantage to it. There's no advantage to Mauga just tearing through like a whole team, taking damage while doing it and then slamming. But yeah, that's pretty much the only reason he has more health, because as he presses shield, he gets 100 per enemy that's around him. So that's 875 with overlife, but if there's 5 enemies, that goes up to 1275 health, which is the most health in the game. But that's because while he's charging... Yeah, while he's charging, he's not shooting back. He's taking damage. I don't actually know. It's actually really interesting. Hammond's low-key kind of broken, not gonna lie. But his weapon as well has less bullets, only 80 bullets, and they do much less damage. He could put almost a whole clip into a 250 HP hero, and he'll only just get the kill. Whereas Mauga will literally shred 250 HP hero over and over again. they are like brother heroes, really. They just do damage from a mid-range, then they close the damage, close the distance, and do a combo to try to finish off targets or force them out of a corner. But again, Mauga takes horizontal paths, right? Ball takes vertical paths. So, yeah, that's the other, you know, similar hero. Let me look at this Mauga. I know it looks like Mauga doesn't have nearly as much health, armor, and shield, right? When you think about that. But here's the thing: he actually has 850 health when he's headshot, like an enemy tank. And this 850 health keeps every bullet gives him more health. So as he's landing headshots, he's getting more health. So if you take these factors into consideration, if he's landing his headshots, all 300 of his headshots are health being returned to him. And if you add in cardiac overdrive, he gets his own real health back. So as he's getting headshots, he will get his over life health back, which is like 100 HP you get. Sort of like shout, really. It's like 150 HP that he gets just from getting headshots. But if he loses his real health, which starts off as armor, by the way, say he got down to 1 health point. If he presses R1 and shoots like this, he can get 749 real health if it's all headshots. So yeah, that's why it seems like Hammond has a lot more health, but they're actually very similar. And yeah, that's why, you know, 775, it goes to 1275, but yeah, honestly, Mauga gets more health when you take into consideration as he's getting damaged, he's getting over life health. Every bullet will get him health back. I don't know how much exactly it is, but yeah, every bullet gets him HP back. So that's the way to sort of, yeah, look at him. So he is more sustainable than Ball is, and Ball is less sustainable than he is, even though it doesn't look that way. Yeah, so that's a little bit confusing, but that's how that works. So lastly, my last tank pair that are similar is Reinhardt and Winston. So Reinhardt excels at, he's not like Mauga or Orisa, he takes corner control. But the corner that he controls isn't the next corner, he controls the corner that he's standing at. And he clears out any, particularly DPS or support, if they are here, they have to respect Orion swinging the corner and they have to retreat. Whereas a Mauga will hold this corner, shoot at the next corner, and it's that next corner where they'll retreat from before he charges in and forces them out with his charge and dual-wield machine guns. Basically, Reinhardt has no range, but he does the same thing. So Reinhardt will do this, force them out, then he'll spin to the next corner. I was going to spin, but you know, he'll just like, say there's a soldier in Mercy here, he'll just go boom, 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 and then he'll pin to this corner, boom, 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 and he controls corner to corner horizontally. His damage is, I think it actually got up to the buff, but it's around 85 damage per swing, I believe. It might be 100 now, I'm not sure. But it might be even more, it might be like 100 or something now. And he fire strikes. So swing, swing, fire strike. It's very slow damage. So swing, 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 swing. So the DPS rate is the slowest out of every other tank, every other rush tank at least. It's slower than this spamming. It's slower than this, obviously. And it's slower than Orisa. And it's for this reason that people think Reinhardt, like Blizzard hates Reinhardt and Blizzard hates Winston. And, you know, they've been, apparently they've been nerfed and, you know, apparently you can't play Reinhardt and you can't play Winston, because if you play Reinhardt and Winston and you try to swing at an Orisa like this, the Reinhardt will just get burst down, right? That's what people say. I see people in GM and top 500 saying this. These people, they actually do not understand the game. It is literally so frustrating watching them talk like this. If you think they would understand how the game works, but they genuinely don't. And it's very annoying. Yeah, so Reinhardt, what does he do? He swings around corners. He can hit multiple targets at once. That drastically increases his DPS rate, his damage per second rate. So let's just go by damage per swing, because I don't actually know the exact numbers, but 85 damage per swing, let's say 100 with the update, 100, 200, 300. That alone will force out any soldier, right? If you're a soldier getting swung at by a tank at a corner, you can't hold this position. You have to, it forces you to run away, right? That's the general idea. But if you're a soldier, a Mercy, let's just say a McCree and an Ana, and all four of you are standing here for whatever reason, right? And Reinhardt comes around here, all of a sudden, his damage becomes 400, 800, 1200 per swing. So that's why... this is why I just think the Overwatch community is literally brain dead. They don't take even 5 minutes out of their day just to look at the heroes and how they're different and how they have different forms of value. A Reinhardt can literally force all four squishy squishy health heroes to reposition from a corner to a more defensive corner. Right? Anyone along the horizontal he can do that to. And if he does his combo, he can go bang, bang, and as they're running away, finish them off with a fire strike, you know? But usually by the first swing, they're already running away, so you do fire strike them. And if you get a swing and a fire strike, they'll be, you know, less than 25% of their health, or 20% even, will be left, right? So... and if they stayed there, they would just be dead. That's why they have to respect it and run away. That's how Reinhardt takes space. If, however, say there's an Orisa holding that corner, and your brain-dead teammate pins to the corner and starts swinging at the Orisa. It's one target, right? 100 damage per swing. Orisa has like, what is it, like 700 health? 625 health, 300, around 300 that's armor, right? That armor, I think it reduces the damage by 50%, by the way. So each swing is 50%. He has to swing at an Orisa, I would say, at least 10 times to kill her. So he doesn't pose any threat to her, so he can't force her to give up a corner. So this is why people think that Reinhardt's weak. But it's not because Reinhardt's weak, it's because you don't know what you're doing with the hero. You're not playing the game right. If you're playing Reinhardt or Winston, you shouldn't even be looking at the tank. You should be nowhere near the tank at all, because they are anti-DPS tanks. Ryan's anti-DPS, Winston's anti-DPS, Doomfist is anti-DPS, Hammond is anti-DPS, Diva, technically anti-DPS, but she can manage against tanks. Junker Queen, anti-tank. Mauga... Mauga and Orisa technically are anti-DPS, but yes, they can also handle tanks. You know what I mean? They have the range to shoot at them. But that's the thing. Every tank is anti-DPS, but but this one is only. The other tanks can have a tank face-off, you know? Reinhardt can't. I gotta do the maths here for a second. I wanna see how many swings it would take to actually kill an Orisa. And this is an Orisa without any support from her team, by the way. I believe when you play Orisa, you get a damage reduction when you use Fortify. Fortify reduces all damage taken again. So, you know, if she fortifies, twirls, and spins the Reinhardt, while twirling, the Reinhardt can do no damage, while spearing, he can't do damage, while fortifying, his damage gets reduced again. And this isn't even taking into consideration the fact that, let's count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. $14 multiplied by 25. Around 350 of her health is armor, which would take 7 swings to break through because there's a 50% damage reduction. So it would take 7 swings to break through, but if you add in Fortify, that's an extra 100 over health, and every swing he does even less. It ends up being like 25, it ends up being like 20 to 25 damage per swing. So, in a game, and with supports backing her up, and supports backing Reinhardt up, she just shreds through his health, does that, pulls him away, fortifies, and bursts him down in like 3 seconds, 4 seconds. Whereas it would take him, if she used no abilities, it would take him a minimum of 10 swings to actually kill her. If she uses abilities, it ends up taking him like 20 swings. Especially if there's a support behind as well. So, like, that's just why it's just so dumb. It's like, let's just count that. This was the minimum, right? Comes to the corner, 1. So he has to do that to kill her. That's how long it takes. That is more than enough time for the Orisa to just burst him down. And that's with Orisa using none of her abilities that mitigate damage and like... She doesn't even need to use any abilities. But that doesn't mean Orisa count as Reinhardt, you know what I mean? Orisa count as Doomfist. Reinhardt... If Reinhardt and Orisa pick a fight with each other, yes, Orisa count as Reinhardt. But Reinhardt isn't trying to fight Orisa in the first place. Like, or, you know, any other tank in the first place. The only tank Ryan would fight would be Winston. That would be it. But he's offensive rush. His opposite tank would be defensive projectile, right? So Ramatra with his weapon, or yeah, Ramatra is actually a perfect counter. If a Reinhardt pins towards a Ramatra, it doesn't. His shield doesn't do anything. His slow is very useful for hitting headshots while he's like stuck. But that's not how Ramatra counters it. That's just the damage he does as he approaches. Once he's out of range like this, he moves slightly quicker than Reinhardt, right? And he can shoot through his shield and just like kill him like that. Ramatra's a perfect counter to Reinhardt. There's nothing Orion can do to stop a Ramatra. There's literally nothing. So does that mean that Ryan's just been right? You know, Blizzard just hates Ryan? No, that's not what that means at all. I'll show you what it actually